Good afternoon for whoever's already here. This is the Insight Meditation reading group of the Palm Beaches. And welcome to our weekly weekend meditation session. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat room on the sidebar there. If you've been here before, awesome, glad to have you back. If it's your first time, I'll run through a few details once the scheduled time begins. We have a couple of minutes before we're scheduled to start, so thank you for being early. And if you have any questions, comments, or whatnot, just feel free to type them in the live chat. In the meantime, let's get comfortable. Let's adjust our positions and postures. Find a nice, comfortable place to sit that we can maintain for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Whether it's in a chair, on a cushion, whatever works best for you. We'll get started here in just a minute or two. Welcome, Deanne. I would say, very happy to see you, but I can't see you. But we did see you in the car on the freeway, so that was nice. I'm glad you're able to join. It's been a while. We haven't had our in-person groups since February. Yeah. We're eager to one day get back to having in-person groups. Hey Tracy, welcome. Glad to have you, even if briefly as well. Stay safe at the protests. I've heard it's a little crazy, but hopefully they're peaceful and just full of passionate people. Of course. I love doing this sort of thing. Anytime I can talk meditation or even guide meditation, for me, it's always a joy and pleasure. I'm going to be meditating anyway, so why not do it and guide others, help others if it's helpful. I'm glad you guys could come. All right, it's 2 o'clock, so we'll get rolling. For anyone who is new, this is the Insight Meditation group of the Palm Beaches. We do a weekly guided meditation followed by either a reading or a short Dhamma talk. Afterwards, we openly and freely discuss any related topics, meditation practice, what have you. Generally, the idea is to support each other in our meditation practice, help us meditate every day, and help us overcome any hindrances or challenges we have in our practice. And as always, I will start with a short introduction on the method. This is the Insight Meditation reading group, so we practice Insight Meditation. Insight Meditation is also known as Vipassana, which means to see clearly. There are different meditation methods out there, and many of them are amazing and fantastic. Some have different goals or different stages of practice. For example, there is Samatha meditation, otherwise known as tranquility. That is Meditation designed to get you tranquil and relaxed and relieve stress, which eventually you do, and then you can move on to practicing the wisdom part of meditation. There's metta, loving kindness, which obviously you're practicing to become more compassionate. And then there's insight meditation. Insight meditation is practicing towards the development of wisdom and insight. Insight into the nature of reality and the nature of our minds. We practice to stay in the present moment and observing what's really happening. It's a very simple technique, surprisingly and shockingly simple when it gets down to it. We anchor ourselves initially to the breath, watching the sensations of the breath with our mind's eye. When you breathe, what exactly do you feel or know? What exactly makes you aware that you're breathing? Not the concept of the breath, the actual sensations. That is what we watch as our home base. So you can feel the rising tension in the skin and bones and the relaxation as you breathe out. So you can feel the rise and the fall. You can feel the passage of air in the nose. You could feel the flow of oxygen within the body. You may be able to feel a sort of breath energy. Whatever aspect of the breath is actually there for you, that's fine. Just make sure that it is actually a real physical thing. Some aspects of the breath are mental as well. We may find frustration with the breath, boredom, joy, thinking about the breath. All of these are valid meditation objects as well. With Insight Meditation, our goal is to observe the mind as it is actually occurring. Mindfulness of each sensation or experience will allow us to see deeper into those experiences and deeper into how we can improve ourselves and our experiences. Say you are using hand sanitizer and it smells like alcohol, maybe even a particular flavor of alcohol. If you're mindful of it and the subsequent experiences, it will just come and go. If you lack mindfulness, though, you may smell the alcohol, triggering a memory, triggering a craving for the taste of that particular alcohol. And you're like, it's been a long time since I had a lime margarita. That thought comes and goes, but the craving remains. And then later on, the craving will lead to you buying margaritas. If you don't mind drinking margaritas, that's fine. But there are many things that we have in our lives that we may not wish to have come back or experience. Anger, frustration, craving for things that with our wisdom we know we shouldn't. Being mindful of those experiences as they arise will allow us to get past them and to find a greater peace beyond. Anyways, let's get on to the meditation. So we will be practicing Vipassana, noting the objects as they arise. Noting is like a mantra. Think of it as just a subtle, simple label. So if you're breathing, note the sensation rising, rising, silently within your mind. Soft and simple labels. Don't complicate it. Don't think about it too much. Don't wonder what's the right word, just what comes naturally. If a thought arises, be aware of the thought and note thinking. If a sound grabs your attention, note the sound. Hearing. Do not try to think about the sound. Analyze the details of whatever's making the sound. You can stick to the sound, noting every passage through your experience. When the sound starts, as it passes through, and when the sound leaves. And then return to the breath. Same with thoughts. Usually, as soon as you're mindful of the thought will suddenly cease, and you can return to the breath. And this is the practice. Being mindful of whatever arises, and then, if lacking some obvious object, returning to the breath. If after becoming tranquil and still enough, the breath is seemingly gone, try to find what is remaining in your experience. There will always be something. Thinking, feeling, liking, disliking, joy, frustration, consciousness. They can all be noted. And with that, we'll get to it. So, if not already in your comfortable position, take the time now to adjust your posture, whether on a chair, meditation cushion, or on the floor. All are okay. The only guidance will be that you are comfortable so that you aren't pained later in the meditation, that you can focus on the more subtle aspects. Although, if body pain arises, that is also an object for your meditation. Do not immediately give in to the pain and switch your position. Observe the feeling first. See what happens if you just watch it. So I will guide us for about 30 minutes. About the first 10 minutes or so will be me speaking aloud, guiding, and the following 20 minutes I will interject intermittently to help us stay mindful. Okay. Let us begin by closing the eyes softly and gently, without squeezing them shut, or even allowing the eyes to remain partially open. Whatever comes naturally and comfortably to you. Bring awareness to our bodies, to the posture, checking for balance, checking to see if we're comfortable, or if the body is relaxed, the mind will follow. And once we're relaxed, we can begin to see each moment a little more clearly. So let's take this time to relax, to let go of the business of the day, to put everything else aside. It's time for meditation. Time for stillness. Time for peace. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Being aware of the sensations of each breath. Feel the flow of oxygen. Feel the release of tension with each out breath. Feel relaxation with each breath. Letting go of tension. Breathing in energy and peace. Breathing out stress. Now we'll begin relaxing the body part by part, scanning for any tension or tightness, and not trying to change these sensations, but simply to let our awareness rest with them. To release the tension, the simple letting go of the tightness. Often the tightness is something we are actively doing. So let's take this moment to relax each part of the body. Allow it to be. Bring awareness to the sensations of the head. Feel the scalp, the forehead, cheeks, eyes, mouth. With each out breath, feel these places relaxing. Feel the muscles softening. Breathing out, feel the head relaxing. Letting go of tension. Feel the neck. Feel the muscles around the spine. Allow the neck to relax. Breathing out, feel the neck relaxing. Letting it sit balanced on the shoulders. Feel the arms. Feel gravity gently pulling them down. Allow the arms to rest. Feel them relaxing. Feel the back, the muscles, the spine, the waist. Feel the sensations changing with each breath. Feel how the back softens with each out-breath. With each breath, let the back go. Allow it to simply rest, balanced, and comfortable. Breathing out, feel the back relaxing. Feel the chest and stomach. Feel the rise and fall. Feel the ebb and flow of tightness and relaxation with each breath. Breathing out, feel them relaxing. Feel the legs, feel the feet. Breathing out, feel them relaxing. Letting go of control, letting them be, come what may. Breathing out, feel the body relaxing. Let all the tension and stress go. Leaving the body empty, with no bones, no muscles, with only this relaxed feeling. Just let it all go. And be with the breath. anchor your awareness to the rise and fall of the breath, noting each sensation, each experience as it rises into awareness and falls from awareness. Know each moment of the breath, the beginning of each inhalation, the beginning of each exhalation. Stay with the breath. Mindfulness is about remembering. Remember to stay with the breath. Remember to bring full awareness to the present moment experience. Practice non-judgment. Practice equanimity with each experience. Note and become still. Concentrated. Balanced. Rising, rising, falling, falling. Note the beginning and end of each part of the breath. Stay mindful, noting with a relaxed, soft attention, letting the mind be still, labeling to keep the discursive mind busy. The longer we stay with the breath, the more peace, joy, and light we will experience. Allow yourself to rest with the breath. Allow yourself to totally relax. Allow the breath to completely absorb you. Remember Relax and return. Find balance in the breath. If the mind is restless, breathe in a relaxing way. If the mind is sleepy, lacking energy, find that energy in the breath. Breathe in a way that brings energy to the mind and body. Know the mind. Balance. And then you'll feel the joy and light of meditation, the inner peace that is always within, waiting for our attention. Be mindful of whatever arises without judgment or preference. Be mindful of our reactions to these experiences. Mindful of the preference. Mindful of attachment. And then let it go, knowing it is impermanent, uncontrollable, unsatisfying. Return to the breath. Feel the breath rising and falling. Mindful of each part. Take a few long, deep breaths in and out as we come to the end of today's session. With our minds still and relaxed, take a moment to observe the state of the mind and the body. How does it feel? Refreshed, energized, peace, agitated, or frustrated? Painful, totally comfortable and light. All are valid and normal. Remember, each meditation session is a practice. Try not to judge them as good or bad. Simply practicing a skill. A skill towards becoming a more enlightened human being, more peaceful, more equanimous. Practicing seeing clearly, whatever it is. And now you can slowly open the eyes while maintaining mindfulness, adjusting our postures to become comfortable. In a moment, we will begin the discussion portion of this week's group. We will discuss today's meditation experiences, or this past week's meditation experiences, challenges we may have in our meditation, advice or tips. This is a peer-led group, so feel free to add your own suggestions or ask any question. I will try to answer as best I can or read the answers from the chat. So thank you all for meditating with us today. If you need to go, that's totally fine. If you want to stay around and chat, we're here for that too. It is a meditation support group, so if you need support in your practice, we're here for you. And for all of you who may have come a little late to the party, welcome. Hopefully I didn't overguide this last session. I might have talked more than I was anticipating. Let me know if you prefer that or if you prefer more silence, and I can try to work on that for next time. Now feel free to discuss in the chat whenever you do have a question. If not, you can continue meditating. If my voice is the most obvious thing in your experience, just note my voice as hearing. Hopefully everyone is safe and healthy, practicing meditation every day. Diana, yes, you can ask questions via the chat box. I am able to see it, so if I see a question or a suggestion or a comment, I will read it aloud for the group. In the meantime, if you're typing or thinking, I did have one meditation-related experience I'd like to share, I suppose. I talked with Ping about it earlier, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, the mindfulness of even something like a smell and how it can trigger your actions later. So when you're mindful of each experience, they're much less likely to take a deep root within. So something like craving, if you're mindful of the craving, of the attachment to some experience or sensation, it's much less likely to come back later to haunt you, if it is haunting. Not everything's bad. So mindfulness isn't just about the sound or the smell. It's about our reactions to it. And one reason we sit and meditate isn't because that's how you meditate. It allows us to become more still and relaxed, to note more subtle things. Subtle things such as preference and judgment as it arises. Mindfulness works best when you note it as it occurs. Preference arises quite quickly. Hopefully you've experienced that before, or you will in the future. It is quite a surprising thing to have a mind so still that you can notice your preference arising distinct from the sensation. That is an insight that we practice towards experiencing. Insights for which this meditation method is known for, or named for, are simply clear experiences that we go through. There's a progressive set of insights that anyone who practices will eventually experience, and each one leads to the next. Diana asks, insight in all kinds of meditation always starts in the body, then mind? It can. Each meditation method is different in some ways. There are many similarities. I personally have practiced a few different methods, and generally they all do start at a gross surface level and then move down to the more subtle things. So the surface level things are the body. So the breath we kind of consider one of these gross level body sensations, something that's always there. It's an obvious and repeated sensation. And that is why we use it as an anchor. Other things are more subtle or more conceptual. Those can be harder to see or experience repeatedly. Otherwise, you're kind of loose, like a leaf in the wind. Vipassana doesn't have to stay on the breath, however. It is just our home base. So if mental experiences are most prominent for you, then that is your object. If that's what's popping up in your mind, the breath is no longer there. You can only hold one thing at a time. So when the thought arises, that is where our attention and our mindfulness should be. And then if the thoughts and mental experiences are no longer there, they disappear, they fade away, then we return to the breath, because it helps us train our concentration and train our present moment awareness as a skill. Being able to always bring yourself back to this full awareness, that is one of the major tools that we practice for. or the more relaxation-based techniques, such as what we practice on our Saturdays with the Dhammakaya temple. That also starts in the body and then ends at the center. The center is a point to become still at and find complete relaxation and complete stillness, to become absorbed in this object. And once completely absorbed, you're totally relaxed, totally concentrated, brimming with joy and peace and true happiness. And from that state, we can observe reality at a much finer detail level and with a much wiser and more still frame of mind. So in that practice, it kind of starts with relaxation and ends in insight. Insight meditation itself as a tradition starts with everything. The relaxation is a concomitant. It accompanies insight meditation. So instead of one coming first than the other, they kind of go together. Being able to let go of experiences brings relaxation. So how's everyone's daily practice going? Have you been finding it difficult with everything that's going on in the world? With new challenges facing our work or family life, such as working from home, having more family around or less family, or more distractions, more stressful things to think about? The daily practice is very important, even if it's 5 minutes. Although if you talk to monks and meditation teachers, you really want to try to go for an hour a day. And if you want to progress in your meditation to reach deeper levels of peace and deeper levels of insight, 1 hour is the minimum. 2 hours is the minimum for maintaining your level of insight. And beyond that, progression. That being said, you can have great insight, great concentration all in a very short period of time as well. Depends on the quality of your state of mind. Diana says, sometimes meditation feels like waking up from a dream and finding multiple solutions. I've been writing down these insights. Does any other group have a comment or answer to that question or thought? Feel free to add. Ping says, wow, Diane, great experience. Sounds like your meditation is improving. Oftentimes, I find when my mind is more relaxed and still, the byproducts of meditation do tend to open up the mind. It removes the blockages that you may have had, stressful thoughts or lingering attachments or aversions or whatever was built up in your mind that you've let go through meditation. And it's kind of like cleaning the filter sometimes, meditation. So after the filter's been cleaned a bit, you've strained some of the mud out of the water. Answers that were going to come or were just underneath come out. And within Insight Meditation, that's quite common. And it depends on what those insights are. Some of them, if they're meditation related, may actually be the aforementioned insights on the progressive path. Generally, those insights are more related to the actual practice and the nature of mind and matter, the nature of experience, that sort of thing. Practicing to know what's really going on in there. So it's not just about new solutions to existing issues outside in the world. It's also practicing towards letting go of craving, aversion, delusion, all those things that hold us back. Insights that lead us towards liberation from them. Yeah, if you're getting relaxed and clear, that's awesome. I find it helps me a lot. Susan, sorry I have to go. That was very relaxing, feeling very peaceful. My filter was definitely cleaned. Love getting back to reality. Your words of guidance are very insightful and helpful, Patrick. Thank you. Ping says, hi, Susan. Great to see you. Use the chat function here. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I heard you had some difficulty in the past, so I'm glad it's starting to work out. If you guys have any suggestions on the format of this meetup group through YouTube with the chat thing, let us know. Or if you have an alternative suggestion, Zoom or Skype or whatnot. We figured this is just the simplest and most accessible. Everyone can log into YouTube. Don't have to install any apps or anything. Also minimizes distractions, perhaps. At least I hope so. Always remember this, the peer-led group. I just am like you guys. I practice meditation to attain certain goals, to find peace, relaxation. I just share the experiences I've had and the wisdom other teachers have shared with me and what I've learned through meditation and retreats and such that I've been on. So I also value each of your inputs, each of your questions or answers in a discussion. Dan says, I prefer talking in person rather than typing, but prefer just audio for participants, not video. Yeah, I can see that. Well, that's a bit of a challenge. Is there an audio-only version? I've seen some of my favorite teaching monks on YouTube where they don't use a video. It's just a graphic. And then they read out the questions aloud in the chat. I've also heard some are using things like Zoom and Skype. So perhaps we can do it where it's just audio. That way you're not distracted by my beautiful face. It does distract me. Not when I'm meditating, though. And perhaps we can explore that this week before the next session. If Ping and I can figure out Ping says, same here. Talking in person is much better. Yeah. Although having to type it out does make you take the time to think about what you're going to say. It does also lead to me kind of dominating this discussion, which I don't need to do. Susan says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Always happy to get together with other meditators and meditate and talk shop and discuss. Always good. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, you post them. Give it a minute or so, and then if nothing else, guys, then it's been fun. This video will be recorded and saved into this YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen the channel yet, just under the video, I believe there's a link to the Insight Meditation Reading Group's channel. If you go to the videos tab, you'll see all the videos that we've had so far. And I think beginning this week, I'll start posting a few extra where I just do a pre-recorded guiding for set durations and set guiding levels. So hopefully that's of a benefit to you all as you're meditating. If you need a guide, then those videos will be available. And I'll have them labeled and described, like 30-minute lightly guided or 45-minute heavily guided or whatever. And as always, if after this session is over, if you have any questions, comments, or whatever, just email Ping, and we'll try to answer you or integrate it into the next meetup. Diane says, there is a good podcast by 10% Happier about meditation and race. Number 252 episode by Dan Harris. Okay, cool. Yeah, he's great. That's a lot of podcasts. I didn't realize there were that many. Wow. Yeah, I'll have to cue that up and give it a listen. It's one thing that we do come to know a bit more clearly through meditation as well. That race is just a concept. Through meditation, and specifically Insight Meditation, we learn to know concepts as they are, to see them clearly as simply concepts, ideas that we've learned over time, which may or may not be accurate reflections of reality. So by being able to let go of a concept like black and white, we're all just people. And even people as a concept at some level. Living beings. So if more people would practice and see these concepts for what they are, there would be more peace. I know some of you are participating in the protests, so hopefully your presence, your peaceful atmosphere can permeate those around you. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, just send us an email if there is. If not, it's been great chatting with you all, meditating together. And we hope to see you next week. Same time, same channel. We'll let you know if there's any changes. All right, everyone, take care, be safe, be healthy. May you be free from suffering. See you next time.